Hello, welcome back to another video. Today we're here at Whilton Mill for the 2026 Km100 Cadet Lightweight Academy Day. So just coming out of the pit lane now onto the track, and this was it rained a bit in the morning, so the track was still wet, but it was dry enough as it was about 10 degrees in this day, so it might get dry later, but there was some rain forecast later in the day. So to come out the pit lane onto the track for the first time this year, in new karts as well for Club 100 Cadet in all the championships. So you come into the left and then into Zulu corner and then down straight into Ashby down the hill. We're going to take a wide line through Ashby, cut back on it a bit as we go down the straight, and we're going to make a nice move as we get a nice better run, make our first overtake there of the day into this left-hander as we go now into Ozier's, looking the brakes a bit and taking a wide line all the way through and trying to get a cut back as we go down the straight into the boot now. So you get green flag waving there as you go into the boot, trying to hit that curve, not really getting it there as you go into the right now, trying to keep it pinned through long right, it keeps going, then it goes left using all of the curb as it has been flattened since last time we were here for the first round. We'll get a really big slide out the final corner, so we're going to go start our first flying lap as we go into turn one. Not much grip here, so definitely struggling a bit more through the first corner, getting a lot of understeer going through as we come down long back straight up to Christmas corner now, trying to brake on the inside, trying to find where the grip is as you go wide, you try to find a cut back line there. Then we're going to try to keep it flat through the left hander, then into the right hand now over the curb, and then down the hill into Ashby hairpin now, keeping the cart sort of in the middle, a bit more towards the inside, the apex, then running all over the apron and the outsides. We are allowed to use all of that this day, and taking quite a tight line through this left hander. And the cart's really all over the place, and the exit as the rear is really kicking out on the exit of that left hander. Managed to get the car under control as you go into Ozier's now, putting the power down as you go down into the boot now. And now you can see on the top the off board as you go through the boot into the right hander, come through the long right now as you come back on board now. So you're using all the curb again, and then using the curb through both of those corners. You come off the onboard and you go down straight to complete the first lap of this session as you go through the first two corners once again onto the back straight. Then skip forward a bit more to my best lap of this session. So let's see it into the turn one. Try and take quite a tight line, and then just take a bit too much speed. Just doesn't get really the exit there as we need. It's quite an important exit. It's got a long straight that goes all the way up to Christmas corner, and then onto the brakes now. Trying to quite control as you go more a cutback, but not really managing to hit the late apex, what I was aiming for. Then decent line with that left and into the right, trying to hit the curb, but not really turning in early enough to hit that curb, but it doesn't really matter too much. Into Ashby, taking quite in sort of the middle of the track on that line, we're using all of the apron, just getting onto the track for the curb end, and then here using all of the bit of the curb and all the way tight, and the car sliding a bit on the exit, and keep it under control, taking a wide line all the way around the Ozier's, and now I go down into the boot now. Keeping it quite controlled and turning in early using all of that curb really helps the car to turn. And then through this right hander, keeping it going, trying to keep it flat all the way through. It's very hard as the car is really slidey through there, so it's a long right hander. As you come through the final corner using all that curb through the chicane, you come to the line. We're going to set a 120.9, plus P8 in our group at 2 seconds off. So good session one, and good ready for session two. So as we come out of the pit lane again for our second session now, I actually got the backwards camera now, so it's facing me to turn the GoPro around the other way, so you see me this time for the session. So you see my throttle and the steering inputs as well. You see how much steering I put in these sort of conditions. So go up into Chris corner, quite a big lock up actually as you go into the corner. This brake's still it's a bit cold as you go through the left and then into right and get the car to steer. The track was dried up a bit as it didn't rain in these sessions. Going to Ashby's a lot more grip than expected there. It is at the bottom of the hill, so the water probably has gone a bit there. So you go into this left-hander. Still quite a lot of understeer there. But as we skip back to go down the main straight into the first corner and then into the second, a lot too much speed. Just couldn't really get that right in this session as you go really wide and just don't really get a very good exit. This driver's going to drag up here, so we don't really see them coming there. So as you go into Christmas, they're going to go apart inside. They just brake late and us and two people are actually going to go past there, so losing two places there. But let's just see if we can stay with them. There's another driver's going to get past us there. So we're really just struggling with that with turn 1 2 in this session. It was corner that wasn't really getting right for this whole session as we go into Christmas corner right now and then into this left-hander. You can see here the slow motion as you come into the right-hander, just getting a lot of understeer as you go through turn 2 and then as you go across the line there into the first corner. As you go back on board now, nothing really happened in this session. So as you come to the end and come across the line, now's it for session 2. Wasn't the best session on pace, not really finishing the sides I thought. I finished 15th, about 3 seconds off, but definitely could improve in session 3. Okay, so now we go into the third session as we go out the pit lane now. On the track, it rained in between this session and the last one. It rained quite a lot, not for long, but it's quite a lot of rain. So the track is definitely a lot wetter than it was in the last session. You can tell a lot more standing water on the track as you trying to be a bit more careful, see where the lines are, if there's any different lines you need to be taking now, as the track is definitely a lot wetter as last time. We'll see how big differences there are in lap times, but I do prefer these sort of conditions over the damp sort of conditions. It's the full wet, so let's go. As you can see the off-board on the top now, as you go through Ashby hairpin, we get a nice ramp. We're going to go around the outside of the driver with the Lewis Hamilton replica helmet as we come into Ozier's now, getting the carts in on the inside. It's sketchy, there's the carts not wanting to go on the exit of Ozier's there, so you can see the off-board as well going into the boot, trying to get the curb but just missing it on that occasion as we go through this long right-hander, trying to get cart turned in after the left-hander, completely missing that curve. They're kind of messing up that chicane, so not the best run through that chicane. We go to start a first lap of this session into the first corner, turning in a lot earlier, and they're starting to find a better line through here. It's braking a lot more, but getting much better exits. You do need a good exit going up to turn 3 in Christmas corner, as I was definitely struggling with that, so I was losing a lot of time I think in the first couple of sessions. As we go into Christmas now, getting quite a good exit using all the curb there. Well, this is where the grip sort of was on this day, on the curbs. It's a lot quicker just using all of the curbs. As you go into Ashby hairpin, taking a lot tighter line than this driver with the white helmet. They made quite a bit of a mistake into Ashby, so we're going to get up the inside for his left-hander and make another nice move there. As we go into Ozier's now, we're going to make a move on this driver here. up the inside into the boot. So we're gonna have that inside line. We're trying to use all the curb, but not really managing to find that curb. As you can see now on the slow motion, definitely just trying to use all of this curb, as you can see here, all over the curb through the right hander as we go through the boot. As we're going to come back on board now, as you can see the curb really makes it fast. And you can use a different part of the track there, as that bit of the track was very dry for some reason on the outside. But I'm not really sure what line was quicker, as taking the sort of normal line or taking that line going a bit wider but getting a lot more grip there, because it was pretty much dry on the outside line. So they both were about the same, I think. So I was normally shooting normal line, but sometimes I had to use that line as well. As we skip a bit further into the session, we're going to see my fastest lap of the session. So going through the first corner, using all the curb and then braking, getting quite close to the line, put the panel as early as you can. So you really need a good exit going up into Christmas corner. So go up into Christmas corner, locking up the brakes a little bit there, but not much. And I was taking quite a tight line here, what seemed to work for me. As you go into left-hander, trying to take it flat there, and then turning as early as you can, getting close to that curve as you go down into Ashby. Yellow flags coming out last minute there, as we were already braking, so it didn't really affect us that much as we get to put the power down again as we go into this left-hander here, trying to get the cart turn. We're going to get the cart turn pretty nicely. There's power on, getting it down quite nicely into Ozzy's, taking a nice wide line, cutting back, just avoiding the mud on the outside of the track. There's just not much grip there. As we go into the boot, braking quite late there, but taking a different sort of line, cutting back, seeming to work pretty well, and then hitting the curb bit there, but unsettles the cut a little bit, wants to go wide, so we're going to have to use the dry patch there, what seemed to work quite well, using all the curb through the left, and get close to the curb on the right, and then trying to get the power down as early as you can. We're going to run to the line, and we're going to set a 1:19.4, it was good enough to be fourth in, so very good, 4 tenths off, and feeling good, and learnt some stuff for fourth session. Come into our last session of the day, as we come out of the pit lane one last time today. It didn't rain in between this session last, but the track's still quite wet from when it rained earlier. As we come through first corners, hoping we can get some space to try to put some laps in. We just did learn some stuff from the last session. As the last session we did get a good space, so we go into Christmas now. We're going to look to the inside, but not really going to find grip as we just bob down on the exit, so this driver's going to stay ahead as we go into Zulu, and then this driver with the black suit and white helmet is going to go past. They go up the inside into Ashby, and we're going to see if we can try to follow through. As we get a very good exit, we have hit the back of that driver as we go into the left hand. We're going to take the inside line, they go around the outside. We managed to hook up the curve pretty nicely, so we're going to gain that position there as you go into Ozzy's, and then taking quite a cut, using the cutback sort of line through there, and then we go down into the boot now. Trying to take that line took in session 3, and seeming to work quite well. Definitely get the exit, not sure which one's quicker. As we hit the curb there, what makes the cut slide quite a lot as we go into this left-hander, missing the curb there, as you would want to hit the curb, but just missing it in that time. As we go across the line to complete that first lap, start first time lap, and using all that curb and then braking, trying to get power down as early as we can as we go down this long straight, as it is very important to get a good exit as you go up into Christmas corner now. Locking up with the brakes a bit there as you come into Christmas, and through the right hand, left hand, using all the curb, and into the right, using a little bit of the curb there. It's better if you can use all of that curve. As we see the off board now into Ashby, always yellow flags, so slow down as those two drivers spun outside of the corner. So come back on board now through left hander, sliding quite a lot on the exit as you go into Ozzy's now, cutting back on through there as we come now as we skip a few laps later into Ashby once again. Someone's going to go up our inside, and we're getting a very nice switch back, timing it to perfection really there, as we go into this left-hander. Now using all of the curb, but it's just gonna get thrown off that curb there. So we just hit probably the wrong angle, or what wasn't really going to work. So still keeping ahead of this driver here. Really, there's not much point battling, so they are going to go up our inside. So nice move from them that time, managing to keep the move as we go. See if we can try follow them. So, they are quick. See if we can follow any of their lines. If they're doing anything differently now. Through the left and then the right, and we're going to come round the final corner now to start another lap. So we come a bit later as well into session. You see another driver has pulled over to decide to slow down there, so we've got someone to try catch up to. Sometimes it can go a bit quicker if you have something to try aim for. So let's see if we can catch up here, see if we put some good laps in. So as you go different line here, trying a wide line, what I think was working better than the tight line that we were doing before into Ashby, and then into this left-hander. These two drivers doing quite a wide line. I'm doing tight line. I think gained in the mid corner, maybe not as much in the exit, but I think overall it's pretty similar. As we get a nice exit, so we're catching up now to drive in front. So you go down straight into the boot. I'm going to hit that curve very nicely, which is going to bring us around and then into right hand. They go a bit wider, we're going to try to tie to the line. This car rear end really slides through that corner. Not really getting the curve as much as I would have wanted there, but as we get quite a nice run onto the main street, and see if we can set a good lap now. So into turn one, turning in a bit later than I would have wanted there, but getting a very nice exit here as we're going to hit quite, it's not really late apex, but we get the power run a lot earlier. This is good, and then into Christmas corner. I take a very tight line. Well, this tries to take a wide line, so aiming quite different lines. I like to experiment with some different lines, especially in the wet. Definitely helps as we go off board, as we go down into Ashby, as this driver is just going to go off into the grass there as we come next of Ashby. So now we have got some space in front of us. See if we can set a good lap here, as we will have one more lap after this today, as we look up quite a lot there into the mud. What I was saying, I just didn't have any grip there, so that was going to make this lap not really a good lap. So we've got one more lap, see if we can try and improve. So as we go through the boot now into this right hander, trying to use the curb but not really getting it, as you can come through the long right. Then into the left, using a good amount of curb there on the left. You want to use all of that curb now as we can, as it has been flattened. So let's go for one more lap today here at Whilton into the first corner, turning very early, using all of the curb, and then braking, and then getting the power as early as you can. The car really sliding as you go on the exit, but getting a very nice run all the way up to Christmas corner. It's a very important exit into Christmas corner, locking up the brakes, later braking as late as we can, hitting a very late apex, keeping it quite tight, then turning in late over the curb, keeping it flat through the left and into the right hander, using the curb. There's someone on the exit, no yellow flags there, so we can keep going as as quick as we normally do, and then using all of the apron, just getting off in time to get back onto the track, and then into his left hander, locking the brakes a bit to get the car rotated, and then putting the pad on as early as we can into Ozzy's, taking a nice wide line and cutting back to a very nice line, getting the power on very early. What is also another good, important place to get the power on, is it's quite a long straight going into the boot, locking up what really helps the car to turn in, and then into the right hander, keeping the power down all the way around the right hander, and then we're going to flick it left over the curb and then through the right for the last time. A lot of slide. I'm going to put the power down, see what lap we can do at the end. I'm going to cross the line, set at 118.9, was the best lap of the day, and that put us P7 in group, second off, and pretty good. So we had a very good day here, Whilton. Definitely learned some stuff before the season. Good to get back in Club 100. Hope you enjoyed this video, and thank you for watching.